Hi everybody, and hi, my beautiful co-host and sister, Corinne Mooney, all the way from Mesa, Arizona. How are you, Corinne?
I am better and better.
That's great. And you are stunningly beautiful as always.
Oh, flattery.
So,
Thank you.
everybody, welcome to the Cosmic Sister Show with Corinne and Anne. And today we talk about illusions of the mind, unmasking the world of illusions. How stunning is that? And as always, we are walking our talk. What can I say? Having a few experiences.
Yes.
So, step into the soft shimmer of our shared cosmic space, where curiosity becomes a doorway and every question is an invitation to remember who you truly are. In this episode, Anne and Corinne open a gentle yet powerful exploration into the illusions of the mind, those subtle inner mirages that shape our choices, color, and our emotions, and weave stories that are not always our own. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Together, we peel back the veils with compassion, humor, and soul level clarity. We look at how illusions form, why they feel so convincing, and how to recognize the quiet moment when an illusion dissolves and truth begins to breathe again. If you are ready to unmask the world within, reclaim your inner sovereignty, and walk with us into a more luminous understanding of your own consciousness, you are in the right place. Take a breath, settle in, let's journey beyond the mind's mirages and into the heart of what's real. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, and no, we didn't prepare any joke for you today. Maybe something is going to pop up during the show, I don't know, but we haven't prepared anything.
Mm.
And we will discuss illusions of the mind, unmasking the world of illusions. Our last show on Cosmic Sis-Stars was last Wednesday, March 25th, and we talked about living limitless. That was a great show as always, right? So
Hmm.
we do go live every week on YouTube at youtube.com/ at Cosmic Guardians 111/streams and youtube.com/ at Angel Place on Earth/streams, and also um, stream the replay on facebook.com/Cosmic Guardians. And you can also find past and upcoming episodes on our website at angelplaceonearth.com/Cosmic Guardians. So a lot of dashes and slashes, right? So let's dive directly into the world of illusions.
Oh, well, first of all, I thank again the universe that at the last minute goes, oh, you might add this because this is an interesting way of seeing illusions. So it will be coming, but I think how we're so guided, and once we open up the possibilities and the universe goes, oh, they're talking about our favorite subject, let's give them a little more information.
Yeah.
But I want to ask a question. Are we
Yes.
simply products of a matrix of accumulated impressions moving through life as mechanisms designed to give us what is not really real? Or are we something far more expansive than we have ever thought we could believe? Human life is a tapestry woven of many threads: emotions, physical body, the heart, the brain. All contribute to the complexity of our experience. Among these, the brain seems to think that it's going to take center stage. Acting like a vast internal computer, it gathers information, arranges it into sequential images, and forms what appears to be a reasonable story of the events. However, does the brain speak the truth or just pick up what it sees? Does it reach for intuition, emotional depth, or spiritual connection, or simply records and replays? It does interpret sensory input, even if that input is ambiguous and contradictive, and then it blends it into a narrative that we accept as reality. So,
Yes.
what do you think about that?
Yeah. That's wonderful to think about. And, we, for us to progress on the spiritual path and expand ourselves, expand our mindset and our perception and everything, we need to step outside of what we think we already know. We talked a lot about that thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We need to grow a new way of look at things, a new
Mm-hmm.
perception, and listening to different sources, discussing things with different people, even those who have the opposite opinion from ourselves. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
good thing, right?
Yes. Because it gives you something to kind of bounce things off. And interesting, another thing about the brain, it doesn't fact check. It doesn't find out if it's real or not real, if it's right or wrong. It just says, okay, I'm seeing this, so we'll put it in a form that kind of looks like it fits. And when we rely solely on these accumulated illusions, our perception is shaped with incomplete stories and
Yeah,
unquestioned
yeah,
assumptions. There's that word
yes,
again.
exactly.
Yeah,
And inherited values and perceptions
right.
that may not at all have been ours from the very beginning.
Yeah,
But you
exactly.
can't, as an infant, actually, you are going to take from your environment. And it's a natural thing. It's not wrong. But then
Right.
we need to expand, right? So,
Yep.
for each and every one of us, there comes a moment in every awakening journey when the familiar landscape and the mind begins to shimmer. What once felt solid reveals itself as a mirage. What once
Yeah.
felt unquestionable begins to soften. And what once felt like the unquestioned truth dissolves into a wider, more luminous field of awareness. So the point when you start to really go deep and question your beliefs and what you have and your perception of your surroundings, right? So what are
Hmm.
the illusions and what are not? And that's really interesting. I don't claim that it's always extremely comfortable because it can feel a little weird at the same time, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
but on another note, and we talked about this before too, we cannot perceive something that we don't know what it is.
Right. Yes. We really need the brain to do its function. We just don't need to give it complete authority over everything. But the brain moves fast. It resolves things quickly because in our survival, we need to, oh, big hole, don't step into it. We need that quickness. But when it becomes where it's guiding us and leading us, and I love the way you said dissolve, because the universe gave me an example this morning. And I remember when you pour like a soda pop or something that has fizzy in it, you pour it into your glass and all the bubbles come to the top. Now, those bubbles are real, they're touchable, they're tangible. They look like they're consuming every part of the cup because they do. They raise really high. And that is the illusion. However, after a few moments, the bubbles will evaporate into the ethers and no longer keep us from the reality of what is down below. but they
Yeah.
they feel real, they look real, they touch real. And but when we start understanding that there is a difference, then we can step into our amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? Quantum physics teaches us that I'm touching a table and it's solid, but in reality, it is not. Nothing is solid.
Nope.
It is composed by tiny, small, microscopic particles, right?
That are constantly moving. That are constantly
Yes,
moving. The amazing thing with that quantum philosophy is that if we could vibrate at the same frequency that the table is, we could walk right through the table, you know? And, um, but when you realize everything is in motion, I think being human, when we're children, everything is a possibility. And the older we get, we come up against barriers that say you can't go any further, you can't go any further, and we start accepting them as reality. This is called the tether and capture. When an animal is tethered and it starts to move and it can't go because it's chained, and it can't go and can't go, over a period of time you could take the chain off and it still will not move beyond that spot, because in its mind it's still chained, it's still caged. Our ability as humans is that we can step into this. There's more beyond that. How do we find it? How do we go within? How do we help remove that bond that is around us?
exactly. Oh, that is so intriguing. Um, so when we finally will meet in person, I want to run through you and you can run through me.
Absolutely. You know, I'm going to be vibing at your vibe, lady.
So, illusions, as we think of them, they are not, there are more earthly illusions. Like you could say that, we see pictures taken and they are created in such a way that you can see different things in the same picture.
Mm-hmm.
Part of illusion, right? My walk the talk today was because sometimes I get these auras around my eyes. I don't get headaches and anything. It's a form of migraine, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
I just had it today. It's gone. It vaporized. Perfect. That's also some sort of more an illusion that we are seeing somehow, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
affected by the body itself. So
Yes. Yes.
illusions are never mistakes. They are invitations. They are the veil that help us grow strong enough to see beyond, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are the training grounds of consciousness, shaping our discernment, our emotional sovereignty, and our ability to stand in truth, even when the world around us trembles. And that is a huge part of this path, going
It
within,
is.
finding you, the true you, and questioning all those things around. Because if you are standing strongly in yourself, doesn't matter if the world around you have an earthquake, you are still going to be strong here, standing
Yes.
strong, right?
Um, that brings me again to the story of this. It's just a little wristband, and the monk that they made these for the Tibetan monks that were held prisoners. Okay, this young man was taken at the age of 17, put in a prison camp, daily humiliated, tortured, and for 15 years, every day faced his abusers, and he chose to not take that as his constant
Oh,
reality.
sorry.
I mean, it was happening,
Sorry.
But he chose to realize that that was just part of what was happening around him, but not to him. And I actually met this monk. He came and did a talk after he had written a book. And what an example of realizing that we can choose if we want to follow that particular um, story, or we can change our story. And that
And he did.
yes, he did. And
Mm.
that little piece of material survived the fire that I had when my house burned down. I couldn't
Of course
believe it
he
when I
did.
found it, and I'm going, okay, it's going to be significant, so I'm keeping that.
But that goes to he made a choice, and that's something we have been talking about all the time too,
Mhm.
because it is about choices and consequences of our choices and consequences. The word sometimes have a cling to it as it's something negative, but everything have a consequence of what
Mhm.
we are choosing and picking at the moment, right? So
Exactly.
he didn't, he couldn't control what was going on from the others towards him. He couldn't control
Right.
that. So he decided for himself, I'm going to respond in my own way to get through this.
Hmm.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you actually, I mean, we forget that every morning we meet the most incredible human being on the face of the earth, and that is us. We have the illusion that we are less than, that we are separated from, that we, all of these illusions that float into our brain. But we are as incredible as this monk that did what he did, or that someone else does, that someone, we seem to think that those are isolated situations, and we forget to look in the mirror and say, hello, you most precious, beautiful perfection. And we are that. And yes,
Yeah. And feel confident about ourselves and love ourselves,
that's right.
because each and every one deep down is trying to do the best they ever can, right?
Exactly.
And we
Exactly.
talked about that too. Our best varies. So don't judge yourself for it. It's not going to be something static or stable each and every day the same, and the climbing is going to go up all the time. No, it's not happening like that. It's going a little bit up and down, but that's perfect. It's okay.
Yep.
But I think the lesson also from the monkeys, what I just love about that story, whatever situation you find yourself in, you can choose your response.
Hmm.
You can choose how you deal with it.
Yes.
And
And
we each and every one have that choice every day. Every day.
yes, yes, we do. And there are some days when our best is a little better, and we can go, oops, that's just a figment of my imagination. That's just an illusion. That's it. And there's other days where, ooh, that really feels like it's real. I'm going to have to kind of dig through this one and, move it out of the way. But that is perfect. That is awesome. Because look how strong you get by, you know, working through it.
Yeah, you do. I'm
Yeah.
sitting in the middle of a storm here, but I don't think that you hear anything. It's raining and it's windy. It's actually a storm. But anyway, it is what it is, right? So
And I'm,
I wanted to
I'm,
say something about, yeah, please.
go ahead. No, finish.
Okay. I wanted to say something about our memories because this is also our mind creates illusions, right? And our mind doesn't always hold the memories in perfect order or exactly as they were, the mind can create illusions from memories as well. So when I'm
Absolutely.
holding on, if I would hold on, I don't do that. But if I would, I'm holding on to something someone did to me 10 years ago. And I'm holding on to my version because that is what I do remember.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to give that person a tiny little chance because of that. Who is going to suffer from that illusion? I
Not
am.
the other person, for sure.
No,
Yes, yes. Yeah. And that is how it keeps us, going back and back and back. And how our the pictures that we have taken, that memory that do become a strong illusion, and say, well, this is real because we put one together and two together, and we came out with 19. um, but I'm the brain, so I can add it any way that I choose to add it.
exactly.
But we place unnecessary burdens on ourselves when we resist returning to the light. When we avoid illuminating our illusions with love and awareness, we forget that we really are limitless creators of our own story.
We are. And that is a whole lot of power, personal power.
Yeah.
So we don't want to take that away from ourselves, do we? Because if we are blaming someone else, for instance, for what someone did 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, we are giving a part of that power away, right?
Hmm.
So there are a few very common illusions, and one of them is the illusion of separation, that we are alone, we are separated, and we are not connected. But each and every one of us are connected to what's called the field around us, right? So we are connected with each other.
Very much. And another part of that illusion of separation is that we are separate from ourselves,
Yeah,
that we are not really who we are. And the process and the experience that we chose when we decided to become human was to take the ideas of what we thought we were, and take them out for a run, see if they work. um, am I able to sing? Am I able to do art? Am I able to do this? Yeah, look at this, and
yeah,
have a tactile experience of uh, taking our truth and letting it become our reality, instead of allowing stories. Interesting, the word fear. Uh, I think it's false evidence appearing real. And that to me is kind of like an illusion too, because
yeah,
they're real. They're real. The bubbles on the drink when I poured it, they were real. They tickled my finger. And but they're going to evaporate if I allow them to. If I don't say, well, there is nothing else in that
exactly.
cup other than, bubbly air, and move beyond what seems to be a barrier.
Exactly. And another illusion is limitation, right? And
Oh.
last week we talked about being limitless. And
Hmm.
also, I limit myself if I buy into someone else's opinion and make them my illusions about myself, who I am, right? That's not
Yes.
who I am.
No.
So the mind often insists that we are bound by our past, our circumstances, or by the expectations of others, right? But
Hmm.
when we look closely, we discover that limitation is a construct, not a truth. It is
Yeah.
a boundary drawn by fear, not by essence. When this illusion dissolves, the horizon expands, possibility returns, the inner compass awakens. we start taking place in our life,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, and basically showing up. You know,
Yeah, and
sometimes,
that feeling is also starting to become curious. Oh, I want to explore what I
yeah,
maybe didn't see before, right?
yes. And I find that illusions will steal our peace um, when we really buy into them. As you were saying in your story, um, the event that happened, and you're still feeling that, and that other person, it probably was not a big thing to them. They didn't even realize that they had done this particular thing, maybe, and they're living their life happily, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, this is horrible," and everything else. So it robbed you of being who you truly are. And uh, as I said,
It
then we,
robs us
yeah,
of, yeah, sorry, no, go ahead. I chimed in.
no, it's uh, and each time that we recreate that story, it brings us back to that pain, but moving beyond
Yeah,
the limitations, beyond the illusions, beyond the shadows of the past conditioning. It's time to step into that perfectly imperfect divine human that we truly are.
exactly. And there's another illusion that's very common too, the illusion of control. So
Oh, yes.
the belief that we must manage every single detail, anticipate every outcome, know beforehand, and
Hmm.
hold everything together through sheer effort. And this illusion is truly heavy because if we have the illusion that we need to control things, and this is very common actually, a
Hmm.
certain amount of control in life, like you said, okay, I know my brain is going to tell me don't step into that hole because you may break a bone or something, right?
Right.
That's a good thing. So of course we need, but logical things, right? But
Hmm.
when we want to, and I encounter this almost every time I work with people, they call to me and they want to know details about everything. You can't know details about everything. And
Yeah.
the thing is, when we get stuck and have this sense that we need to control where things are going or control how the situation is currently appearing, that means that we block the energy as well. We don't let the energy work for us and we hold on to something because we are just stuck in that thing. We need to know what is
Yeah.
the other person thinking? When is that going to happen? How can I, is there anything I can do? Or they didn't call me. Um, did I do anything wrong? Turning it to oneself as well, right?
Hmm.
It's fascinating. And I don't say this to blame anyone. I can understand it on a human basis because we are growing up in this world with all these things. But just know that there's nothing wrong. And usually 99% out of 100, there's something else going on. It's not because you said something or that person doesn't really want to acknowledge you or whatever. It's not personal. Don't take it personal.
Yes, because they can be playing their own version in their mind, and maybe they were upset about something else, has nothing to do with what the conversation is about, so they're responding to something that happened before, and it seems like it's the situation that you're going through. I just became aware of something. It was reminded to me that we have the law of physics, gravity and so forth, which are being changed constantly. But there is the law of the universe. And the
Yes,
law of the universe states that you never, ever take control of another person, because that is like breaking the biggest law in the universe, is to assume that you know more than that person, or that you are responsible for that person, or that you have control over that person. Can you imagine living in a world where I respect you just for you, and I don't try to uh, persuade you to come to my way of thinking or do my way of doing? We just respect each beautiful individual as that beautiful individual. What a peaceful place it would be if we had that complete
Yes,
respect. And
indeed. And also, there are when you, I'm going to say a word, I'm going to use a phrase that may sound a little bit harsh, but when that there are also individuals who have certain gifts that they may use them in a manner that is not correct, because
yes,
we have free will, and as you said, the universal law says that we're not controlling anybody, and we're not going to manipulate anything with them or anything. And I consider that, here comes the terminology, spiritual rape. Sorry
yes,
for the wording, but that is
no, no, but
truly
that's true.
disgusting for me.
It is, and we have a tendency, because we've been taught that we're out of control, that we have to have control in order to survive. And that feeling of that movement, I think sometimes we feel that we have to respond or react in order to survive, rather than just observing the situation. And when we start loving ourselves with that clarity of uh, I am on a spiritual journey, and I'm experiencing these things. However, each person is on their own journey, and I respect that. It gives you more freedom than you could ever have by trying to gain it from controlling someone, and all the work that it takes to try and control someone or something. It's
That
like,
that is heavy. That's really heavy. And as illusions dissolve, clarity rises. The heart becomes steadier. The intuition becomes louder. We hear ourselves. The inner world becomes spacious enough for new realities to take root, for us to see different things, right? And in that spaciousness, we begin to remember who we truly are. So we are not illusions. We are the awareness that sees through them, but we need to allow ourselves to do that. We are
yes.
not the stories. We are the consciousness that chooses which stories to continue and which to release. As you told the story about the monk,
Hmm.
fantastic story. We
Yes.
are not the limitations. We are the infinite presence that exists beyond them.
That's uh, I'm speechless, and for me that's a big thing when uh, when I'm
You're
unable
speechless.
to form a thought. But it is so true that uh, we have so much potential, that if we develop our own truths, our own greatness, we can contribute to society. And when we feel small, that we have to conquer someone else in order to say that we're doing our thing, we've actually defeated the purpose of being limitless, because we feel that we have to get this and add that and change this, rather than what is what do I have within me that I haven't even taken time to look at. I'm going to
Exactly.
go deep dive in and see what is this essence that I am, and what are my possibilities. And really, when you become like that, you don't become self-centered, you become self-love. And when you become self-love, then you start seeing possibilities that are beyond comprehension. And and you realize that the people around you are doing their thing very well, and we don't have to go over there and dabble in their lives and control it.
Exactly. And when we do remember that we are not illusions, that we are awareness, the world around us transforms. Not
Hmm.
because the outer world has changed by itself, right? But because our perception has shifted into alignment with our truth. And
Exactly.
once we see clearly, we cannot return to the old illusions. And that is basically a blessing. Who would
Hmm.
like to step back, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
old illusions lose their power, they lose their grip, and they dissolve like mist in the morning sun. So this is the gift of awakening, and this is the path of the cosmic guardian. How about that? And we are cosmic sisters on a journey, and we're cosmic guardians. So why not
Hmm.
join us out there?
Yes. Yes. And each contribution that a soul makes, even if it seems very simplistic, it can be that one piece that is missing from it progressing into something even bigger and better. So there is nothing small about being human. There is nothing small about our human potential. We do not need anything to make us better other than realizing that we are limitless, that we are capable, and that we are the most beautiful thing that has come to um, to be in this part of evolution. And that's we are. Everything is evolving. Everything is recreating, and life is becoming its greatest potential.
It is. And I think you said this in the beginning of the show, and we said it before many times. As human beings, we tend to complicate things a whole lot.
Oh,
It's
very
it's
much
it's
so.
not that it's not that complicated. And when we start to dissolve those things we don't need any longer, we don't need illusions of the mind. We don't need illusions of society. We don't need the illusions we have been given. And not to judge those who gave them to us because they did their best from the
Yes.
times, right? But when
Yes.
we have come here, we chose to awaken. We are going to move ourselves through all of that. So I usually say that souls who transition over back home to the other side, because that for me, that is back home. Um, Existence is so much easier because we get rid of all those conventions of the world
Yes.
that we don't need.
Yes. And things that were I'm going to relate this to shopping, or you go and you see something, oh well that's so cute and I've just got to have that and I'm going to save up for it or I'm going to get it right now, and you take it home and you admire it for 15 seconds, and then it just becomes another piece of stuff that is sitting accumulating dust, and then years go by and you go, why did I ever put so much effort into that? And I think because we see things and we're in that illusion that that's going to give us happiness or that's going to give us satisfaction, rather than realizing that what we really have inside, and if we develop that, which does take a little effort, it does take a lot of love, and it takes determination, and it's a lot easier to just go buy something off the shelf and go, but I ask people, how many times have they purchased something that they wanted so badly, and once they got it, it just became a thing. Then they had to go to another thing and another thing. And that is the illusion of not being good enough, of separation. And I guarantee you, it really saves you a lot of time and money when you finally finally let that go, because and declutter,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, declutter, and also avoiding going only with what's fashionable at this specific time, right?
Correct.
Because it doesn't mean that it fits me, it doesn't mean that I look my best in that. Personal style, what would you like to wear? How would you like to appear? What is you? What feels like you? And that's not also static. That's going to change. So follow it, but dare to be different, be creative, and enjoy it.
Yes.
I never actually, already as a teenager, I had my own way of dressing and
I
doing my
knew it.
stuff.
I, I was just going to say that knowing you as much as I do, uh, we did our own thing, and um,
I know you did too. Yeah, I know it.
it's like the times I watched some of these things where, uh, especially I'm going to use a woman. Men go gaga over the cars, but women purses, and they will spend thousands and thousands of dollars for a colored box that doesn't even have compartments. It doesn't do anything. It's you're walking around with this suitcase that cost you thousands of dollars as a status symbol, and it's worthless completely. And but they're under the impression that if I have this, I have status. Everybody's going to look at me, and
Yeah.
I love to create my own clothes and my own fashions. And I actually had people of great uh, status coming over and ask me, "Who was your designer?" And I'm looking at this little thing that I put together, probably in less than a couple of hours. It just was an idea I had, and I kind of giggled to myself, and I think, well, before I understood about illusions, their perception is that this came from some quaint designer and I spent all this money for it. And in reality, I was just my creative me. And I began at a young age
Yes.
understanding that uh, it's okay. I don't have to uh, follow their thinking in order to be me.
Yeah, exactly. And I never had that wish to follow with all the fashions and all the stuff. And if someone had an opinion about something, and I dressed well in my own style,
Yeah.
someone said something, I came with 10 times what I was wearing the next day. I was a little bit of, just to go
Yeah.
against them. You have any questions?
Yeah, I could feel that tenacity within you, my sweet sister. Yes. Yeah. We
You know what we're up for, right?
yep. It's getting kind of warm over here. Go
So,
for it, my dear. Those simple questions.
yeah. So we always have five simple and clear questions that flow beautifully with the theme of the day, of the show. But they are also offered to all of you listening and watching as gentle reflections to explore within yourselves, right? So they are
Right.
for you as well. But we are going to now put Miss Green here in the hot seat, and I'm smiling.
Mm.
So What illusion of the mind do you notice the most often in your daily life?
Oh, that is really every day. I think a different version of the same illusion can come up. Um, you're in conversation with someone, and because they're living their own story and their own memory, and then they'll say something that sends you back to a response that you had, that you've worked on getting rid of. Um, but I think it helps bring you to the point that you have done a lot of work on that illusion. I'm not answering this correctly. I'm going by an incident that happened with me. And someone brought something up, and it sent me back to thinking of all the things that I've done to eliminate that illusion of having to defend myself all the time. And I thought, well, that was interesting because I'm handling it differently than I did then. So what illusion would you say that comes up in your awareness more often?
Or illusion? Um, I don't really know, to be honest.
I
Um,
know, because
uh,
we have to go back
because
in memory.
we have to go back in memory. But if I would relate to the thing you said, when we see something that we think I got rid of that, for me, that has two, I see it in two ways. One way is that the universe is bringing me a brand new experience to really um, say a yes or a no to that same
Mhm.
illusion again, right?
Right.
Um, because we work with this on a daily basis, so we just take it. It's not something that do last. But if I would experience, for instance, I would meet a person that I was very connected to 10 years ago when I was a different version of myself.
Hmm.
And they had an idea about me that were their idea, opinion, basically, then that doesn't fit with me today. I
Correct.
would say that they are living their story.
Hmm.
And if you want to be my guest, but I'm not that person anymore, right? And we do change. And also, the change by itself can sometimes become an illusion that we are. It's like the universe tries to drag us back into that because we know that we changed.
Yep.
Sorry, we know we transformed,
Yeah.
but even situations come sometimes when we have to. Am I going to say yes or no to that? Is that me or not? No, it's not me. So I'm not
Right.
stepping in. I'm choosing. I'm making a choice again, and I'm choosing not to step into that because it's not me. And it's not done with attitude. I know it sounds like because we are a little bit fiery here, right? We have
Yeah.
all those things going on, but it's not about. And you can actually accept someone. It doesn't mean that we feel that we are still in alignment with each other because sometimes that happens too. If you change and the other person does not, maybe that means that we are not in alignment anymore, and that's fine. You can still love them for who they are and love yourself for who you have become and are. And but it's interesting most of the time. And you can sense. I'm very sensitive to those expectations that's coming from someone. I feel them
Yeah.
1,000 miles away, right? So I find it a little bit interesting, but I don't step into it. And sometimes people do react to that, and it's not going to make me adapt if I don't want to.
Yeah.
No way, right?
Yes.
Was that a good answer?
Y- Yes, it was, because it was coming from truth and experience, and I think that's what all this is about, because uh, life is in motion. It's constantly moving and giving us opportunities to uh, not necessarily re-examine or go back to school. It's saying, yes, look how far you've come. You have new tools now,
Exactly.
you know, and
Exactly.
now you can take this situation and handle it in a completely different way. And this is I
Yeah.
think is it's almost like uh, your grade card when they tell you, yeah, you passed that test. Yeah, and
And you say,
even
"Yay, I
even
did."
that, yes, yes, yes.
But it's interesting, and we change all the time, and yeah, it's our choice, and it's also we need to remember that's the other person's free will and choice, what they want to believe in. It's their
Yeah.
thing. Um, but we don't need to, if it's going to affect us somehow or they oppose things on us, no, we don't need to adapt to that. If we don't want to, if we want to, that's fine too. But people like you and me very rarely adapt to things like that, do we? No,
Stubborn, tenacious,
I think that's a
determined.
good, it's a very good thing to have.
It is. It really is. Yes.
It is. So, next question. How do you feel when you realize something you believed wasn't actually true?
Uh, I guess the first word that comes, well, several words: freedom, peace. Ah, it just it's like relief that that idea that I can't go beyond that step because I was taught that I can't go beyond that step, and I took that step, and the earth kept revolving, the sun kept rising, and I'm still alive.
Yeah,
And that awareness, um, freedom, freedom,
yeah.
uh,
It is freedom.
clarity,
And
clarity. Yeah.
yeah, and for me too, because it's also a sign for me that I discovered something, an aha moment, and I love aha moments.
Oh, I do.
Um, and it means that I could penetrate my perception, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yes.
And I
Yes.
just love that because I'm a curious person. And of course, sometimes when if you have people around you and they show you that they are not who they claim to be in the beginning, you could feel some sort of disappointment. But on another note, also freedom, because usually we have that sense something is a little bit off here. It's not 100% as it should be, maybe. And when you get that confirmation, yeah, okay, doesn't mean that you despise them or you know um get angry, or you just no, okay, now good, now I can make my another choice here,
Hmm.
right? So
Yes.
it makes life so much easier. And third question, which inner story are you currently unmasking or questioning? That's a juicy one, right?
Well, because uh, time is motion and it's always moving, uh, I have to say that I am given the opportunity to have this one going on or that one going on or this one going on. There's nothing real solid that I'm going, oh, I've got this mountain to try and climb. It's like, okay, that's interesting. Uh, let me re-examine this one. Oh, this is interesting. Let me re-examine that one. And I think because I am living so much in the now that if it affects the now, then I give it some understanding. But if it's not in the present, then I figure that it got me to where I am now, and I don't need to. go back and play that game again. Um, but it's fluid. That's what I love about life. It's not stagnant. It's not like you have to eat oatmeal every single meal. I get to choose.
And that is a blessing. That's fantastic. And I think that goes on for me too, because when you come to a certain point and you understand more about yourself and this path,
Yes,
and you are curious and you are more relaxed. It's not that complicated anymore. And we deal with things as they come along. So we basically, it's a lifestyle on a daily basis. How we take on life, how we take on the tasks that we are being brought, right? If you express it in that way.
hmm,
Um, it's just about response to life. So
exactly.
it gets so much easier. And I can say that in the beginning, when I started my conscious journey, when I thought that, okay, I get it. Now I get everything. I know it all. And then I started to understand that I only scratched the surface. But
Yes,
it's harder. The hardest part is, I think, in the beginning, in my perception. And then it gets easier because you dig so deep, it's nothing that can shake you any longer.
yeah, yeah.
It's nothing that can rock your world, is it? No.
No, like the bubbles. You write
Yes.
them out and you go, oh well, it tickles. But yeah,
Yeah. And we all go through things. It's a misperception that people like me and Corrine are sliding through life on pink clouds on a daily basis. And that's not true.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
it's about how we tackle what's coming our way.
Exactly, exactly.
Fourth question. What
Yes.
helps you return to clarity when your mind creates confusion or doubt?
Okay. A formula that I use is to stop, take a breath, to allow for the possibilities that will arise and show me where to go, and to I always love getting into that meditative state, but the quietening of the mind takes you momentarily out of the illusion, out of the confusion, and just brings you into the present moment. And from that spot, then you, I love that word allow, you allow the possibilities to just go, hey, here I am. Oh, I'm over here. Look at me. Look, I got another, and, but when you're going around like this, you're pushing them away. The energy is pushing away the possibilities because you're in this whirlwind and nothing can get close to you. So, quieting, becoming aware, mindfulness, all the things that, you know, uh, the tools that we use to just
Exactly.
stop the buzz. Yeah.
And I do the same thing. I express it differently. I just say that I take a step back and I see a bigger picture and I just breathe and I observe
Hmm.
and let things work for me because we don't need to have control over things. And I think that that is the number one urge for many people. I want to control the outcome. But as you say, when I'm doing that, I'm stopping, I'm blocking the energy. So I frame the energy with my mind. What I'm thinking is the best thing that's going to be. So when we can detach ourselves from a situation and observe it and feel relaxed, letting it work, the energies actually work way better when we are not holding on to them.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So that's what I do too. And I just leave it be. And of course, sometimes, yeah, we can get a little bit emotional in one way or another over certain things. But it doesn't last for weeks. It doesn't even last a day. it lasts for a short few moments, usually, right?
Yep.
And then we can gather ourselves, and we should not also punish ourselves for that, because maybe that needs to come out. A little bit of frustration
Yep.
or sadness or whatever it can be, and then moving on.
Yep.
So I have a lot of personal experiences. I won't tell details, but I've experienced so many times the fact that when I want to control a situation, or I'm checking something out all the time to see the result of something, that's when it's going to take a long time before I receive my answer. A long
Yes.
time.
It's the old proverbial watching the pot and it won't boil. Um,
Exactly.
a very personal situation. I have a beautiful young lady that just found out that her daughter has a genetic situation going on that was inherited by the father that causes lesions to form on the brain and in the lungs and in different places. And this little 6-year-old is having brain surgery on Friday, and she's been bringing her for Reiki sessions. And the little girl is just, I mean, she's handling it. She's very talks about it and stuff like that. But you can talk about things, but what's happening on the inside. And I was working with her yesterday because I like to do 3 sessions at a time, and this was the second session. And of course, she wiggles and squirms and she moves and everything else. And then magically, she went into that peace, fell sound asleep, and her mother is sitting there crying because she has not seen this child calm like that since they found out she was going to have the surgery. And that peace is where she's healing. But the purpose of it was that after they left, the mother said, "What do I do now?" And I said, gently, not be a hover mother, because when I've gone through surgeries, many surgeries, my son, I know what you're feeling, and you just want to get in there and do something, but the wanting to do is keeping things from actually happening. I said the best thing you can do for you is to find that peace and to allow the healing to take place. And this is it's a very difficult thing to do, but that constantly wanting to control it, wanting to fix it, and wanting to go over and do something, you're actually pushing it away. And finding that calm within yourself. And there again, the illusion that you're going to be able to fix it by doing all of this, if you let that evaporate and say, I am in the awareness that it'll be fixed, which is difficult, but you know, we
It
all
is
can do that.
difficult, but yeah, it's the very best we can do, actually. It's the very best.
Exactly.
That was a beautiful story.
Oh, well, it just fluttered out of me. It's uh, but they, like I said, watching the beauty transpire, and I have no control over the outcome. Nobody does. But if we trust that what will be for the highest purpose and the highest good to resolve, and you know, for everybody, for her growth,
For
for the
everybody.
child, for everything. Yeah. So
Yeah. So,
okay.
last question, Miss
Yes.
Colleen. When do you feel most connected to your true, unfiltered self?
When I'm having these conversations with you,
Oh, thank you.
in reality, because
Like
you let me be, I can just, I can, I can be me.
and it
Yeah.
goes the same um, for me being with you because for everybody, yes, we have done this for a long time. We have a lot of experience, and we are never going to be fully uh, taught in this reality, right?
Right.
So it's a continuous thing, but it's still, when you find that person, your person that you connect with, and that is you for me.
Yes.
You can be yourself, and things are, the energy just flows. It's a fantastic connection.
Yes. And this is what I was alluding to before, that if we start just allowing that person, like, uh, I wanted to kind of do a little fun thing and say, oh, you're not thinking like I am, so you've got to think like I do. We're not on the same track because you're not thinking on my track. And that's control. But just allowing me to be me and you to be you, we reach so many heights because uh, we both can contribute to something that is unique, and it's a whole lot easier because I don't have time to control you. You're uncontrollable.
No,
Ah,
there's no control or anything. It's just this unconditional love. And that
exactly.
means you're
Yes.
perfect just as you are. And the way you express it, I love that. Perfectly imperfect.
Yes. 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 Okay.
So
Well, I'm fanning off the seat here. See?
it feels cooler, right?
Yes. Yes.
So is there anything else we want to say, or are we wrapping this up?
I think wrapping it up, we can always say more because we always do, but at this particular point in the evolution of and revolution of the world, I think saying our adieus will be perfect at this time.
I think that's perfect too. So find upcoming and past episodes from Cosmic Sisters at youtube.com/at Cosmic Guardians 111/streams and youtube.com/at Angel Place on Earth/streams and angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. You can connect with us, read articles, and find out more about Karina and myself at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And you also find Karim Mooney at liquidenergyhealing.com. We have done last year a couple of series. We made the Four Agreements and the Celestial Prophecy. And this year we did actually the fifth agreement on the Four Agreements because there are more agreements, right?
Yes, yes.
You can find our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series cosmic guardians. And our next upcoming show on Cosmic Guardians and Cosmic Sisters is next Wednesday, April 8th. And we will talk about everybody wants change, but very few want to change. I think that's going to be interesting.
Yes.
That's something to chew on for those of us who are stubborn. I've been through that in the past.
Mm. Yes.
So we do go live for you every Wednesday in US and Europe, and that means early morning in our future Australia, Thursday morning.
Mhm.
Do you want to read the affirmation?
I'm going to let you read them today, and because I think the words coming from you are just going to resonate beautifully.
Thank you. Okay. Today's affirmation. I release the illusions that once shaped my path, and I return to the quiet truth of who I am. My clarity expands, my heart steadies, and I walk forward guided by my own inner light.
Wow. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And as we come to the end of this luminous journey today, take a moment to feel what has softened, what has opened, and what has quietly revealed itself within you. The illusions of the mind may be many, but your inner truth is steady, patient, and always ready to rise when invited. Thank you for sharing this sacred space with us. Thank you for your presence, your curiosity, and your courage to look beyond the familiar stories. Until we meet again, keep listening to the whispers beneath the noise, keep choosing clarity over confusion, and keep walking with the light that has always been yours. From our hearts to yours, Anne and Corinne, your cosmic sisters, honoring the truth that shines when illusions fall away. With infinite love, peace, and joy, we see you, we hear you, we honor you, we love you, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you.